four things that I do when it comes to energy work. I've been doing energy work since like 2016. And this is on top of me being a nurse. And so I had this understanding of how the body works biologically, physically, and how disease develops that way. And now adding energetically how that works, because everything that we experience as far as physical sensation or physical illness, discomfort, pleasure, it all starts a more subtle foundation of energy. So we have this thing called the subtle energy body, which is, think of it as your body, but it's the more subtle aspect of it being the energetic part of it. Just like you can't see the electricity flowing through wires, flowing through a plug in a wall, but we can see our wires, we can see our circulatory system, our muscles, we can feel it. We have this nervous system that allows us to feel, but we can't see with our eyes the energy that flows through it. But just because we can't see it, don't mean it's not there.
Welcome to Garner Growth. Welcome to Garner Growth.
What's up, fam? Welcome to another episode of Garner Growth. Today, I'm going to share with you some simple energy work practices for self-care. It's really important to have a foundation of working with energy because it's what we are, right? It's the foundation of everything. So all the things I talk about, managing your emotions, managing anxiety, it all comes down to energy work and vibrations. And if you don't have a practice in place that has to do with working with your breath, then I think you need to add it, right? So once you add that to your toolbox, or you add it to like how you handle things in life, it just automatically connects you to what you are, what we all are, which is energy and vibration. And so I'm really happy. I'm really excited to share with you four things that I do when it comes to energy work. I've been doing energy work since like 2016. And this is on top of me being a nurse. And so I had this understanding of how the body works biologically, physically, and how disease develops that way. And now adding energetically how that works, because everything that we experience as far as physical sensation or physical illness, discomfort, pleasure, it all starts with a more subtle foundation of energy. So we have this thing called the subtle energy body, which is, think of it as your body, but it's the more subtle aspect of it being the energetic part of it. Just like you can't see the electricity flowing through wires, flowing through a plug in a wall, but we can see the plug in a wall, we can see the wires and how they're covered in the sheath to keep the energy conducted, all that. We are the plug, right? And so we can see our wires, we can see our circulatory system, our muscles, we can feel it. We have this nervous system that allows us to feel, but we can't see with our eyes the energy that flows through it, that animates all this and makes all this happen. But just because we can't see it, don't mean it's not there. So I'm going to work with you. I'm going to share with you how you can work with your subtle energy body, which you can't see, but you can see the evidence of it in everything that you do, including just us being alive and existing here. And the biggest input, the biggest tool that we have as far as working with energy is our breath. When we breathe, we are physically taking in oxygen, nitrogen, things from the air, and bringing it into our body. It's exchanging in the lungs, right? And what it's doing is it's carrying all that oxygen and stuff into our cells, because that's what it needs in order to conduct or create energy, to metabolize. And when you metabolize, you create energy. And so when we breathe in, we're basically fueling our electricity. And when we exhale, we are getting rid of our waste from that metabolic process. Just like when you eat food, your body metabolizes it, takes out the nutrients, and uses those nutrients for building blocks for cells, and also uses it for calories, for energy, right? Everything we can't use, goes out, right? So we do that on a physical level where we can see it and feel it, and then we do it on a subtle level energetically. And when you breathe, breathing is the mechanism of that. And it's like how we take in that whole process of metabolizing with oxygen. And by working with it, you are not only developing a deeper connection with how you function and what you are, but you're going to be able to address imbalances in your body, imbalances in your mental health, in your emotional health, disconnections within your spirit and your relationships, your ability to connect with others. You're going to be able to address them way before you experience them physically or you feel them physically. And when you make it a regular practice, you're able to maintain yourself, in a better way, in an easier way. We're just maintaining more balance, more alignment, spiritually and energetically, so that you will experience less of the physical things that you can see. It's kind of like when you ignore the subtle signs of illness, and you ignore all the stress that you carry around. You ignore all the tension that you carry around your body from trauma, from anger, from pain, and you don't address it. And then over time, what happens is your body becomes toxic. It becomes toxic with that lack of flow, that lack of metabolizing energy, because now you're constricted all the time. You kind of poison your body with that, and now you have illness. You got diabetes. You have cancer. You have you have nerve disorders. And so we develop illness from a subtle level, just like everything else comes from a subtle level. Illness as well develops from a subtle level. And so when we address things on a subtle plane, we can experience more physical balance, because even before we get discomfort physically, we've already been working on that energetic balance. And this is going to impact your whole life. It impacts everything you do. And I'm going to share with you 4 different approaches to energy work. The physical, using your body with your breathing, using sound with your breathing, using visualizing with your breathing, and then just breathing, right? So we're going to do breathing. I'm going to start you off with a really common breathing practice that's called box breathing. Box breathing is something that a lot of systems use, a lot of traditions use. They even use it in the military. And it's a way for us to really focus the mind, because it's a really engaged form of breathing. You're counting your breaths, or you're counting the seconds while you're breathing. You're holding your breath, which helps with absorption of that oxygen, but it also creates a rhythm. So by counting, keeping the number consistent, you're creating a rhythm, which creates flow, balance, right? And by counting and actually like engaging your mind, it really helps with that busy mindedness that a lot of us deal with, because your mind got something to do. As long as you give it something to do, it can stay focused on that task. When it's is idle and not focused, or when it's idle and just like not in a balanced state, that's when we experience a lot of the busy mindedness that can physically actually wear you out, right? You be getting tired from thinking so much, or you have anxiety from thoughts. And box breathing is a way for you to engage fully your mind, give it something to do so that it's staying focused on this task. It creates rhythm because you're counting your breaths in, out, and you're also counting the pause. So you're inhaling at the top of the breath and the bottom. And I'll give you an example so you know what I'm talking about. So we're going to inhale for 4 seconds. You're going to hold your breath for 4 seconds. Then you're going to exhale for 4 seconds. And then you're going to hold your breath for 4 seconds. And then you're going to inhale. So it goes in this box cycle. Inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, holding for 4, inhaling for 4. And you can change it from 4 to 6 to 8. I definitely will do longer counts. But to start off, if your breathing is not really balanced, you're not really a deep breather, which a lot of people are not, because if you're not mentally connected to your body, or you have a lot of anxiety, you're typically breathing more shallow. And when you're more relaxed and calm, you're typically breathing more deep, more fully. And it becomes like so easy to not breathe deeply that a lot of people run around kind of like half-ass breathing. And over time, what that does is it decreases the oxygenation in your body. Your body is not getting as much oxygen as it needs. That's a form of very subtle hypoxia, low oxygen. And when we have low oxygen, it's like smothering, choking you out, real slow, real long over time. And you'll start to get more tired. You won't function as well because now you're not metabolizing effectively because you're not getting enough oxygen. So you don't have the fuel to burn and fire at the rate that you need to. And so you get sluggish, you get fatigue, things start working a little less efficiently. Your body looks different. And I want to share this tip. This is like a tangent, but not a tangent. So when you are a mouth breather, you change the shape of your face. So if you're a person that like typically breathes with your mouth open, like that, which a lot of people do maybe because they smoke. So, or they do other things that like their nasal passages are not as clear. They have a lot of congestion. They have allergies. So you end up being a mouth breather. It'll actually change the shape of your face so that you'll like get more of that like less defined jaw and it won't be as symmetrical. So you'll actually be like less pretty, less attractive as far as symmetry goes because of how you're breathing, your dentition, your jaw, the way your teeth form will also change as well because that's not how our face is meant to be. Our face is meant to be in a closed position, breathing through your mouth. Your nose is supposed to be your main form of breathing, not your mouth. Depending on what you're doing. If we're doing something that's an aerobic exercise, we're running, we're in fight or flight mode, then breathing through your mouth is now a way for you to get more oxygen because you need it for this moment. But it's not supposed to be your whole life. It's not supposed to be your lifestyle where you breathe through your mouth. It's supposed to be done when needed. We do it when we singing, but we're also not singing all day. So when you are just and you have less form in those muscles, they get lazy and they get formless. And so breathing with your mouth closed, with your tongue kind of resting on the upper palate behind your teeth is proper form. Like that. Breathe through your nose. There's this thing on TikTok my niece told me about called mewing, right? Yeah, mewing. Mewing is a Pokemon to me, but apparently it's also this thing where you like tighten, like almost like swallowing motion and pulling up your chin muscles so that they're flat and firm. So you don't have to be doing all that, like, putting extra effort into it. But the proper way that we're made to breathe is with our mouth closed, breathing through our nose, in and out through our nose. So that will show in your face, but it'll also like help you to sleep better, sleep more effectively, snore less, decrease sleep apnea. So that was my side tangent. Breathe with your mouth closed. If you notice that you're a mouth breather, which it could happen. It happened to me one time. I became a mouth breather because I had like nasal congestion, allergies and stuff. And my mouth was always dry. And I just like, it didn't feel good, Breath was stinky because you have like this open mouth breath. So closing your mouth and putting more intention behind breathing properly through your nose is important. It really does affect the way you look and you feel and your overall health. Okay. So that's my little side tangent. So back to box breathing. We're going to do it in and out through our nose. I'm going to practice it with you. And it's something that you can do. You can put music on. You can do it. You can do it as a breathing exercise. And especially if you have trouble focusing, ADHD, whatever it is, anxiety, doing this kind of breath is really good for people specifically with a busy mind because, like I said, your mind has a task. It has something to do. It's something to focus on. So it's a lot less apt to go be idle and be all over the place. You have that monkey mind. All right. So let's practice it. And we're going to close our mouth, breathe in and out through our nose. And we're going to do 4 counts just so you can see what that looked like. If 6 counts works better for you or 8, then just do that. All right. So in for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale. hold. That is really hard to do while you're counting it. If you're doing this by yourself, then you don't have to do all that because you're not, hosting a podcast right now. But that's how you do it. All right. So let's see if we did it for 6. It would look the same way. It would just be longer inhales, exhales, and pauses. Right. Even now, like everything is slower for me now after I just did that because I've been talking a lot and it's nice to relax. So that was box breathing. And one thing that I've tried that makes it even more fun is doing it to the beat of a song. So you can find the beat of a song that, because, music is made with 8 counts. And so you can do it to a beat of a song pretty easily. And it doesn't have to be, to the 8 count. It could be to the 4 count, just make it work. I'm going to make a video where we can do that to a song just so you can see how it looks. But that was box breathing. That is a simple way for you to breathe. If you're having anxiety, if you just want to like connect your mind and body and do it as a daily practice in the morning, especially if you're going to go and do some computer work, I would do a box breathing as a tech break. It's nice to take tech breaks every like 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours during your shift or doing your work, whatever you're doing. But yeah, that's every 2 hours, rest your eyes from the screen, take a breathing break, and do some breathing. And it really just brings you back to a centered spot. And then when you go back to your work, you're actually more focused and able to stay on the task that you're in. Because if you notice, like when you're, if we're running a marathon, that's kind of long. Say we're running a 5K. So you're running a 5K and you start off with good form. Your mind's focused. You feel even like amped up. And as you keep going, your body gets tired. You lose form. And that's when you're actually more prone to injury because like you lose form. You're not doing things properly. Your mind's not as engaged because you're tired. And the same thing when we're doing our work. If we can start off being engaged, focused, and once our like brain gets tired of whether it's the screen that's making us tired or whether it's like the thinking, the processing, the problem solving makes you tired, you start to lose form. And when you lose form, you're just less efficient. It takes you longer to do things. You do it sloppy or you do it half-ass, and then you might have to go back and do it over. And that just actually like makes more work for us. So the best thing to do is just take a break. Take a break. Do a little, a few minute breathing, 5-minute breathing. Doesn't take much. Bring yourself back to a state of mind-body connection, balance, and then get back to it. And you feel just more invigorated. It's kind of like you get your second win. Just like if you were, you needed to eat. Energetically, we need to eat. Sometimes we get drained because we're running low on our battery. And in order to eat, to consume energy, we actually are energy generators. And breathing is how you generate energy. So if you find yourself feeling like sluggish and slow, not functioning as well, you need to generate some energy. And you can do that with just like relaxing and breathing. And especially if you do it while relaxing, you're allowing your body to not burn as much energy while generating it. So when you get back to what you're doing, you got like a full battery ready to execute. So we did breathing. Next part is visual breathing. So it's breathing, but using your imagination. I love doing this because it's a way you can direct energy in a direction towards a person, towards a body organ, towards a injury. It's a way of just directing energy, right? So if I wanted to connect with somebody that I'm in a relationship, we can do an exercise where we can visualize and breathe through our hearts. Sit across from each other and breathe through our hearts. I'm going to do that with you, even though we are, cameras apart. But I'm going to show you how you would do it with somebody. And then also you can just do it with yourself. And the difference with visual breathing with what we just did is we're actually using our imagination. So, and using imagination with intention. And the intention comes from where you place your attention. I can put my attention on my heart. I can put it on my hands. If I want to do a hands-on healing with somebody, I can put my mind, my attention on my hands as I'm breathing out my hands. That's definitely a way to do it. I could put my attention into my pelvis if I want to get intimate and I feel like it's not working or I don't feel connected sexually. I could put my attention on my pelvis, breathe my attention and my intention into that. So it's a really like fun way to play with energy, I think, because you can actually like experience the results of it as well. And you feel like you just prove to yourself that you are an energetic being and you are doing things that you can't see. And it just feels like it's cool. All right. So we're going to breathe through our in and out through our nose. And we're going to put our attention, so our mind, we're going to put it on our heart. And you can all feel this. We have this thing called proprioception, which is one of our senses that allows us to feel our body in space, where it's at placement wise, allows us to feel where things are at within us. So if I say, where's your heart center, the center of your chest, you don't have to look down to locate it. You can just sit here and know the center of your chest. I can sense it here just in my mind and put my intention there. So that's what we're going to do. So let's do that. We're going to put our mind on the center of our chest and you're going to breathe, taking deep breaths so that you feel your lungs expand. And that's the thing with a full breath, you feel your whole torso expand. You feel pressure on your lower abdomen because your diaphragm is flattening out and pulling all that air into your lungs. And when you exhale, you feel your diaphragm relaxing, because that's what it does. When you exhale, it relaxes, allows the air to escape, go out of your lungs, and your torso, your rib cage contracts now, because now it's not full of air. All right. So let's feel the mechanism of what breathing is. Oh my God. So let's feel the mechanism of what breathing is, the expansion and the contraction. All right. So inhale through your nose and exhale. Let's do it again. One more time. All right. So you got a taste of the exhale, the extraction. I can't even talk. You got I feel like I got energy high. You have an idea of the expansion and the contraction. So now I want to put our attention on our chest, and the visual part now comes in our imagination. I want you to imagine this light. This light could be any color that you want. I'm going to visualize mine like sunlight, warm sunlight, because when I feel the sunlight, I feel this like immediate comfort and it kind of just hugs me. And everybody can connect with sunlight. So if you want to do what I'm doing, let's do a warm, kind of yellowish light that's in the center of our chest. And we're going to breathe in and out into that light. Okay? So just keeping your attention center your chest, visualizing this warm ball of light in the center, like a little sun. Okay? So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale and out. And keep breathing. Do the same thing we were just doing. And sense the warmth of this light, this little sun in the center of your chest. Just sense the warmth of it spreading out in your chest, your lung space as you breathe. And it's just kind of melting outwards. And you can feel it warming up your lungs. And it's very relaxing and calming. Now we're going to add a third layer to this breathing exercise with directing this warm light outwards. I'm going to direct it to you, and you can direct it back to me. And you have the option to direct it to somebody that you love, somebody that might need healing, comfort, somebody that you miss, whoever it is. You can direct this light. So as you exhale, you can project it out, kind of like this warm beam of light, like Iron Man shooting out from your chest, right? So let's inhale in and out through the center of our chest. And sending it out. And as you're inhaling, you can feel the reception. You can feel yourself receiving this warm light. So it's this give and this take, this exchange of this warm light coming from your chest. And in that way, we are connecting our heart centers. So let's do that for a few more seconds, a few more breaths before we move on. All right, so let's inhale, filling up your lungs, seeing that warm light go in and out. And one more breath in and out, giving and receiving completely. Okay, that was nice. We can always go over that with music or something. So now I'm really relaxed. How do you feel? I don't know. I need to now increase my volume so you can hear me. I have some effort into it. So that was doing a heart to heart breathing. And so whether you're doing distance or the person is right in front of you, you can do it with your kids. This is something I like to do with my nieces that I'm going to do with them next time I see them. Is sitting across from each other, or if you have enough people sitting in a circle and just sending and receiving energy from your heart. And it's a way to connect everybody. And like I said, if you do this for like 5 to 10 minutes, your breathing, your heart rates will sync. Breathing at the same time together, especially visualizing that energy going in and out, you're going to notice that you are all in sync in some way. And if we had measured your heart, you would see that it's going at the same rate. And so we did our breathing with our box breathing. We did our visual breathing with our heart center breathing, our heart to heart breathing. And then the next thing we're going to do is our sound. And sound, instead of using our imagination, we're going to use the vibration of our throats, our throat chakra. That's going to help us to create harmony and feel a sense of harmony. I'm going to use a simple mantra, Om. Most people know Om. If you don't know Om, OM or AUM. And you want to also do this from diaphragm heart, lower heart center, because you want it to come out naturally at your natural sound, not forcing it to sound like anything. And feel the vibration. Less how it sounds, more how it feels. So I'm going to we'll do about 5 ohms, and you do it until your breath is finished. So you don't have to like hold out the note as long as I do it. We're not in a choir here. Just breathe naturally. When it ends, it ends. And as you continue to do it, after those 5 breaths, you would notice a big difference. All right. And sound is really good to use also as a group because, like I said, that harmony together as a group, like a choir, it shares the vibration of connection, brings you all together spiritually. So it's really great to do with your family and with people that you love and that you want to connect with intimately. All right, so let's take a deep breath. We're going to be doing this, of course, through our mouth. So breathe in and out through your mouth, or breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, whatever comes naturally. All right. So before I move on, I want to give you guys some cues that I forgot. You want to start with an open mouth, open, relaxed throat, and lifted palate, like you're going to sing opera. And as you close in on the om, naturally closing your mouth, you feel that you feel it vibrate in your face. And that's the natural harmony. You can feel it. It feels good. So remember to starting with an open mouth, lifted palate, relaxed, and closing in on that just allow it to vibrate naturally in your body until your breath is gone. All right, so let's get back to it. Couple more. And last one. All right, how was that? You'll notice that the sound changes as you keep going. My voice sounds so different. The sound changes as you keep going. You notice that your voice sound might change because you've now like tuned your actual like instrument. You've tuned your instrument by doing the Om chants. And also you'll feel the vibration maybe spread. So like when I first started doing it, I'm thinking more of like teaching it. So I'm not as present. And then as I keep doing it, it opens up more and more. I'm breathing deeper, vibrating more in my face. I can feel it in my third eye, like center of your eyes, in your eyes, your nose. And you can relax yourself with the vibration that you're creating. So it's a really beautiful way. Like if you're going to go to a sound bath, I would do this before my sound bath to tune my body to receive whatever vibrations they're putting out easier. So I can be more of a sponge and not showing up to class in my like regular tense body. And so it's a way for you to tune yourself before you actually receive a sound bath. And if you're having any like emotional responses, anxiety. It's a way to attune your vibration to more balance, not negative, positive, just balance, and whatever happens from there, whatever decisions you make or thoughts you have, they're coming from a more balanced place and not from the vibration that was a lot more chaotic or dissonant than before. So that was using sound with your breathing. You can also do ah, if we were to play ah, you could do that too. E, any song, any sound really. You can go through the vowels if you want. But Om is one of the sounds that I learned from practicing Tibetan Buddhism. And it's really simple and really effective. So that's why I like to do it. And you can Om into your body. So you could actually layer this where you could use the sound, use the visual that we just did, and use that as a way to direct. So if I want to Om, do the chant and visualize light coming from the center of my chest out to somebody that's right in front of me, or out to the world, out to somebody I love and care about, or somebody that needs healing, I can do that as well. So you can layer these things. So one thing that you guys need to know, if you're doing deep breathing, you're doing breath work, it moves your guts, okay? So it does. It stimulates digestion, because what we've done is we've relaxed our nervous system to go from fight or flight, busy, thinking, problem solving, active, to relax and digest. And so because we're doing all this, like, you're going to be burping, you're going to be farting, you're going to be just feeling your guts moving around and dancing maybe. And that's just part of your body fully relaxing. So I just wanted to let you know that there's nothing wrong with you. This is what relax and digest looks like. Okay. So the last part is body breathing, which is not so different than what we've already done, because we have been using our body, right? We're breathing. But body breathing, the way that I'm using it in this term, is using, being aware of your body as you're breathing, and kind of breathing as your body. We have cavities in our torso, in our body, that are compartments. These compartments are blocked off with certain organ systems. So we have a digestive cavity, which got your guts, your stomach. We have a pelvic cavity, which has your reproductive organs. We have your pericardial cavity. It's got your lungs and your heart and all the things that you breathe with, right? Those are like the three main ones. And so when you breathe, you are moving pressure within those cavities. And when you don't breathe efficiently, you are not it's like massaging your organs. So let's say we're breathing really shallow. Our organs are not getting that squeeze, that massage that keeps our circulation going, keeps things digesting. They're more stagnant, or stiff. And so deep breathing is actually a way for you to bring more flexibility and circulation, and which brings more detox and cleanliness to your internal organs. And by focusing on certain cavities, you'll notice that pressure increases and it decreases within these cavities. Your pelvic floor, which is the one we're going to focus on, we've already focused on the lungs, which you didn't know before, but we were focusing on the lung cavity, the pericardial cavity earlier, because it was, we were talking about expanding our torso, our our rib cage as we breathe. So you feel that pressure in this compartment of your body as you're breathing. If you're to put your awareness lower, like when I was talking about the diaphragm and how it flattens out and puts pressure on your abdominal cavity, that's how you're putting pressure on your guts and all that. And it's helping to digest your food. It's helping to massage those organs and circulate things, clean them out. Keep flexibility within your organs. And if we go a little lower, which we haven't gone yet, we're going to go to our pelvis. So below your belly button, if we were to breathe and focus on it, you'll notice that when you take a deep breath, your pelvic floor, like the undercarriage, it's the best way to describe it, it goes out. It sinks down because you've inhaled, everything's pushing down, right? And then when you exhale, it comes back up, just like your diaphragm. So I think of it like a lower diaphragm. Really, our body is just a bunch of diaphragms. And so we inhale, and you can feel pressure on your lower pelvic floor. So that's where your genitals are. Everything's going downwards. When you exhale, they come back to your body. And it's more subtle than what you see in your rib cage and your belly, but it's still happening. It's just a little more subtle. And this really helps people that don't have good circulation, whether it's like ED, any kind of sexual dysfunction, including that's men and women. Everybody's body is going to be affected by lack of circulation or lack of connection to that. So you could have a disconnection to your reproductive organs. You could have a disconnection to your sexuality from trauma, from negative experiences, from just a lack of interest and awareness. Maybe it's, you ain't been using it, so you lose it. Like and what you're losing is awareness, connection. And that shows up in a lack of function or a lack of efficiency. Like it's not doing what you expect it to do, what you want it to do. This is a way for you to address that. And without, you could be single as anything, but still do this because you want to be connected to your body. You want to feel whole. You want to feel completely connected to yourself. And you don't want to let that part of you die because it's your creativity. It's not just to do with sex and intimacy. It's your creative energy. This is our life force. We all come from, reproductive energy. So we're all creators. And that's also where our creativity stems from and our drive to create. We have this drive to create things. And then when we don't, we feel like thrown off. We feel like I'm not fulfilled. I'm not doing something right. I'm not producing what I feel like I can produce or what I should be producing in order for me to feel fulfilled in this life. And so you'll feel that lack of fulfillment. That's our instinct to create. And it has to do with you and what you are creating, not so much you being in a relationship or having, having active sex life. So we want to tap into this for our holistic health. We want to tap into it for our relationship health, for our sense of creativity and fulfillment in this life, and just feeling deeply connected to this whole amazing being that we are. All right. So we are going to focus on our pelvic floor. I want you to locate that right now. Just like I was talking about proprioception, your body knows where your pelvic floor is. Undercarriage, okay? All that. So locate it, connect with it mentally, where it is at your body. So I'm going to take a handful of deep breaths while you are putting your mind, your intention on your pelvic floor, and just notice how it moves. Really simple. Notice how it contracts and relaxes. And we'll do that for a handful of deep breaths in and out through your nose. All right, you ready? Let's get to it. Inhale. Feel that expansion and exhale. Feel it contract and go back relaxed into your body. Inhale. Exhale. And keep going, just feeling the movement of your pelvic floor. Keep breathing, feeling your pelvic floor push away and relax back towards your body. Notice if you have any increased awareness of your pelvic floor or just your pelvis in general. Couple more breaths. And last one. And just keeping your awareness on your pelvic floor, noticing any increase in your awareness of your pelvic floor, organs down there, any more connection than you felt before, any sensations. Might notice you have to go to the bathroom now. It's totally normal. It might just be me. All right, so that was great. I never know what to say after I do a deep breathing exercise. I usually don't want to say anything. We've just gone through a whole workshop, like a whole kind of like shortcut workshop of breath work using the body. We first started with our lungs. Actually, we started with our mind because we got our attention and our focus with the box breathing and focusing on filling up our lungs and expanding our awareness of what that feels like using the diaphragm to breathe. You felt more connected to your belly expanding, maybe felt some more digestion going on down there while we're doing it. And then we close it out with some pelvic breathing, which really is your whole body. Like we've done everything but breathe fire through our fingertips, which you can do that too. And so I hope you guys have like a new set of tools to play with. You can layer these things. You can visualize, you can use sound with chants and mantras. You can focus on a certain part of your body that you feel is disconnected. If there's a certain emotion, like any kind of like heartache or emotions, grief, I would focus on my heart center and do some breathing through that. There's a practice that I did that really helped with forgiveness that is similar to what we did earlier, where we were sending and receiving energy from our heart center, but you do it with somebody that you actually don't have a positive connection with. It could be somebody that you need to forgive, or they maybe need to forgive you, or it needs to happen both ways. Usually it's that's the case. And you visualize this person and you can change your the vibration, the frequency of your connection with that person from something that's more negative and has tension, has resentment, to something that is more accepting. It doesn't have to be positive, but just more accepting by sending them this energy from your heart, sending them love from your heart. And you just do that with intention. Intention is how we kind of paint our breath. You can paint it with any intention that you want. And it works because, that's what you're doing. It's kind of like it works when you play a flute in the key of C because that's the key you're playing it in. That's kind of how simple it is. It works when you play the key of G because that's the key you're pushing. Like that's how simple it can be when you're doing breath work and energy work. So try something from this. You don't have to try all of it. I know it might have been a lot, but I wanted to give you guys some things to play around with and also share. So if you have kids, you have family, do this with them. This is a great connecting exercise to do with your family members. Maybe you're not as comfortable doing the pelvic breathing with them. Well, you can definitely do the heart breathing, the box breathing, the sound breathing, and try even different sounds. So there's ways to like play with energy to where we can incorporate it into our daily lives, incorporate it into how we do our social things so that we become more of the energetic beings we are. And it's not something that you do kind of like on the side or in your little weird spiritual corner. This is just what we do because that's what we are. And so I really hope to normalize energy work and normalize breath work so that we can experience the results of it, feel more connected, and also just live our lives in that way. Because when you live your lives from that foundation of working with energy, it expands everything that we do that we can see and feel because everything starts energetically. And this comes back to my book that I am in the editing phase of, which is like the hardest part of the book. I didn't know that. But this book is called 6 Sensual Secrets, and it is an intimate gateway to mindfulness. And in this book, I will be sharing a lot of practices. It actually has a whole workbook that goes along with it. And my whole focus, my whole mission with this book is to reignite our ability to connect, and also like reignite our thirst for connection because we know the value of it. We just kind of like, maybe don't even know the value or are not motivated. But once you start to do it and you start to feel more alive just within yourself, you want to spread it. Like you want to do more of it. You want to have a more connected relationship after you start to connect with your person spiritually. After you start to connect with your kids spiritually, you want to just do it more because it just shows up in your life in so many beautiful ways. And so I'm excited for that to come out. Don't worry, y'all will know. I'm really being intentional about what I'm putting into it and making sure that it's impactful. Like that's my biggest thing. I want it to be impactful and to be accessible and to be something that everybody has in their libraries, whether it's single people, families, employers, just making it a priority to be who we are, be authentic, energetic beings, because that's at our root, our core. That's really what we are. All right. I'm glad I saved this for the last one. I'm breathed out. I want to relax now. So leave something in the comments for me, whether it's feedback, sharing your experience of what you've tried, sharing your motivations, your inspirations, any questions you might have, or things that you want me to cover in following episodes. I'm happy to fulfill your request. Like I love talking about mindfulness and breathing and connecting. Like that is the sauce for me. That's the sauce of life. So leave something in the comments. Share this because it's good stuff. It only does good for people. And whoever you share it with will appreciate that you brought this into their sphere. You put this on their algorithm. All right. Leave with love. And I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Like, subscribe, share the growth.
If you are not ready for the day, it cannot always be night.